FDO, FDO, first DO. Okay, listen, Linda.
Cut the music up. A little louder. Yeah.
I touch that fire for you. I do that 3-4 times again.
Friends, good morning. Good afternoon. All the things. Let me see if I can set this up. We are back in the wilderness. Clearly, never lived. Just probably worse off than before, because whenever I was documenting what the wilderness looked like, over a year ago, I was navigating separation, headed towards divorce, in the Word, in church. I feel like I was grounded in a sense because of my closeness to God. And these days, not in church. I do spend time in the Word, not as much as I should, but God has blessed me still. I have resources in my life and I do use them. Right now, where I am, although I desire love and connection deeply and intensely, and y'all, not even just in a romantic sense, but literally every way. Like, it's like you are, like you, you, I am love, dog. Like, it's kind of crazy because I've met so many people on this journey. Like I said, I've only been single a year. I've met so many people on this journey, and like, I think I shared something today. It said the purest love always sends you back to yourself, or always helps you return to yourself, y'all. I am so full of love, I can't turn it off. And I've met so many people on this journey that have been through so many different things, going through things now that, like, because of what they've experienced, they have cut off the idea of love and are having a hard time existing on and experiencing things because of the damage, the trauma, previous relationships, childhood. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so many things. And I've went through shit too. You know what I'm saying? Like, excuse my language. I've gone through things too, but nothing has stopped me from existing in love. And I know that even with me not being in church as much as I should be, the prayers that I've prayed, the time that I've put in, and I do plan on getting back to that, y'all. But everything that I am, because I know, God, how far he has brought me and blessed me. I know spiritually what it looks like to be held bound by your sin, your doubt, your fears, your traumas. Like, I refuse to allow my past to determine my future. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's no way. Like, it's gone. It's behind me. And like, God says, be anxious for nothing, to trust him, to walk with him. And it's like, even I have this sense of, like, purity where I envision love, and I have to enforce romantically, platonically, you know what I'm saying, in friendships, in my business, my passions. Like, it's so pure that it deserves a chance. Like, it deserves exposure. Like, y'all, a hug from a friend, encouragement from a friend, time with a friend, platonically, is so healing. You know what I'm saying? And of course, in the back of my mind, it's like, I can only imagine what that looks like in a romantic sense. But I also value, like, I want what God wants for me in a time that he sees it fit. You know what I'm saying? I know that he's stretching me and growing me to a place where, when the time is right, it'll be. Like, I've had the relationship and marriage that I do believe was out of the will of God, and even though there was some good experience, it wasn't his best for me. And so I don't want to make the mistake of getting into something where it's not what he had planned for me. It's not in his will, and I get out of whack. You know, I've suffered for 10 years, 5 years, 5 months even, because it wasn't, you know, a part of God's plan. So everybody that I meet in terms of like romantic interest, you know, people that I'm attracted to, like, I'm learning so much. There was a time where I was afraid to talk to guys, okay? I want to say niggas so bad, but I'm trying to, like, I'm trying to grow. You know what I'm saying? So there was a point in time where I wasn't even having a conversation with men. And y'all, yesterday was Valentine's Day. My day was beautiful. I met, you know, I went out with my best friend of 30 years. Some of our plans had changed, y'all. Let me tell you about love, friend. Just yap with me, vibe with me, please. Because one of my clients came in Friday and was like, "Oh yeah, you like R&B? I got I'm gonna give you free tickets to the Fantasia show." I didn't make it to the show because we were not prepared for the weather last night. It ended up raining. The traffic was insane, but the tickets were free. Just out of love, out of me being who I am, somebody gave me free tickets to a concert, y'all. So my night was supposed to go a different way, but it just, how it went, it was cool. I felt loved. I felt appreciated. I felt respected and valued, you know what I'm saying, in a platonic sense. You know, I know the girls make jokes like, yeah, if he ain't do nothing for you, he don't care about. I don't have no nigga, so I don't expect nothing. You know, I got love from out of like phone calls, guys that I've been talking to, you know, just checking on me, making sure I'm good. Like, I don't need anything. I got everything I need. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, I do deserve more. You know, a real guy, the man is gonna be here and give me everything in due time. I can wait on it. Shit, I ain't getting nothing for the past 10 years for real. So this ain't nothing new. I got what I need. I got the Lord. I got a beautiful daughter. But that's neither here nor there. But I think that it's necessary to express that, because when you have self-love and you have God love and you have family love and you have friend love, you don't lack anything. You know what I'm saying? So I really want to express that my intention is to love, period. Whenever I am here, I start with love. Whenever I'm entering possible romantic connections, I start with love. I start with trust, because that's who I am and how I am. I can't change that. You know what I'm saying? I had a man tell me that I felt like home and I felt safe, in a sense that, like, it was almost too safe, because he's not ready for like commitment or to settle down, like, you know, marriage and home and family, like, and man, it it was a lot for me to process, because I do like him, but I don't come into these situations putting pressure on people to be anything more than who they are. And I've had situations where, you know, somebody's like straight up. And if you give me honesty and truth and be the rawest, realest version of yourself, that's love to me. You know what I'm saying? Not like in love, but that's love to me. To respect me is to love me. You know what I'm saying? To be yourself is love, bro. And even if it's not love necessarily for me, because it's love to yourself, because you are true to who you are, I respect that. So there's an exchange there. You know what I'm saying? There's a connection being built. There's room for a connection to be built there. on my behalf. That's just how I see it, right? Not necessarily a relationship. It could be a friendship. It could be a partnership where, you know, my thing is how I exist in this life, not just in love, but I'm growing through it. You know what I'm saying? So if I can be a friend, a confidant, you know what I'm saying? If I can be somebody that encourages you, we have common interests. Like, it's not about a relationship, especially if you tell me you don't want one. I'm not trying to make you that. I'm not trying to force you into a situation. So, I think that to challenge someone to grow, it is love. We can filter these things where it's like, yeah, I know that being close with someone, it may feel like you feel the pressure to maybe be together or plan your life, but it's like, if we're clear on boundaries and things and expectations, I respect it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's literally no pressure. Like, and I think, you know, I do trust God's provision and protection. I just hope that, you know, when I leave an impression on someone, that they challenge themselves to grow in that. Like, if I feel like home and I feel safe, there's a certain sense of comfort there. And even if it's unfamiliar to you because of trauma and toxic, like a prior toxic life or whatever it is, chaos that you experience, like, yeah, I think it's okay to exist in that. Like, if I regulate your nervous system, baby, vibe with me, chill. But I think that I've done a lot of work to get to a place of a regulated nervous system. You know what I'm saying? And if I can help you to navigate that, be it from the sense of a hug or even with distance between us, communications, conversations about these things, I think that in dating, like, I'm literally learning my way. I'm figuring this out. I tell y'all all the time on here that I don't have experience in dating. So, like, and I was watching this podcast once, and it was about dating, and it was a Christian podcast. So one of the statements that was made is that dating is collecting data. And I seen something on the threads yesterday. The girl said, a crush is just lack of information. Like, you can be attracted to someone, like them, whatever, but like, the more you know what I'm saying? You filter things. And when dating, when collecting data, I listen. I do love, because that's who I am and how I am, right? No pressure to you. I'm not asking you to change, right? But I'm existing in love, and I am listening. I am collecting data, you know, because what I learn from a person about who they are, what you tell me who you are, will determine if I can move forward day by day, step by step, conversation by conversation. Yes, I do that crazy delusional girl thing where I plan my life. You know what I'm saying? Like, I plan my life with you. Like, you know, I could see that, but I'm not doing that so much that I am forgetting what's going on now, or it's a blur on what is going on. Like, I'm very present and aware of now. I think what matters most is now. And even if you look at that biblically, like, be anxious for nothing. You know, I can't plan my days ahead, y'all. With how I live my life, in my business, in motherhood, it's all the same. Like, it translates to every avenue of my life. With Janor, I have to take things day by day. I don't know what tomorrow's going to look like. I know that, you know, we have our routines. We wake up in the morning, get ready for school. I go to the gym. I go to work. If I have to work, you know, I may chill at home. I may make time for friends. Like, I have this I'm blessed by God and only God. I've been obedient in terms of my business and mother, you know what I'm saying? Where he has blessed me so much so where I can just exist very, very freely. Like when I tell y'all, I know I ain't no millionaire or nothing like that, but I am rich in the blessings of God in his fullness. Not to start preaching, girl, but I do have a lot of freedom and like this flexibility to be there. And so I may be there for a friend. You know what I'm saying? Like I have the space to exist. And I also, y'all know that I do this faith project thing. And I think that in a sense, kind of like, not even intentionally, it just has happened. I think I got a lot of space in my life for a partner. You know what I'm saying? Like, no pressure. But like, I had told myself once, you know, Friday night is going to be date night. Until I meet my person, that date night is for me, right? Right? I'm going to date myself, right? And so in my last relationship, and even just for me personally, Sundays are special. Sundays are intentional. I'm off Sunday, Monday. So if I was to be in a long distance relationship, how my mind plans it, what would happen is, if in traveling and things like that, connecting with my person, maybe because of how my schedule is, I'll take that flight, I'll make that drive Saturday, I'll knock out my clients Saturday morning, then that evening, Saturday, I would fly out, or I would, you know, drive out, whatever, and spend time with my partner from Saturday evening to Monday morning, Monday afternoon, because I got to get back home to get my child from school. And something happened recently that kind of made me reset. Like, I need to know my worth. I need to know my value. I need to know who I am, how I am, what I bring to the table. And I need to stand firm in what I believe and like my boundaries, like my standards, and just stand on it. I've learned from a lot of the men that I've experienced this past year that they are going to do what's best for them. And so because I respect that, I respect them, and I'm learning, I'm collecting data, I have to do what's best for me. I've been yelling, can't get no coochie out the queen. And even if you did, like at one point I was, you know, abstaining. And of course, I've told y'all how I went through my little season after the divorce where I spun a block, you know what I'm saying? And I had a few other instances last year where, like, run-ins, and it's like, it's not worth it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you give something, and even if you're not expecting anything in return, you lose a part of yourself. And I don't, you know, I give myself grace. But even after kind of exchanging those things and, you know, feeling everything that comes with it, like the compromise of that friendship connect, like, every person is not meant to be my person. Every person is not to experience me on that level. So I have since then pulled back. And even whenever I find somebody, or I'm connecting with somebody, and I'm like, ooh, he might be the one, God ends up kind of blocking certain things from happening. And, you know, I had a real man like, no, not that, not yet. So it made me like, you know what, you're right. Like, I have to respect myself. I have to do better. I have to honor my body, like, in all ways, not just in a way, you know, physical way by going to the gym all the time, but it's not time for that. You know what I'm saying? So, and I think that sex gets in the way of, like, connection building, to a sense where I want to reserve that for just my person. So I don't want to say that I'm going back to celibacy or abstaining, whatever. But I'm leaning towards that, because I feel like if I'm spread out too much in these ways where I'm opening myself up to the temptation of it all, it just is confusing. Right, so we were interrupted, so I think maybe that was my sign to kind of detour from that part of the conversation, because a lot of things should be personal. Um, and as we navigate them, it's like us and God. You know what I'm saying? Even in relationships, like, I recently decided to kind of like pull back from like sharing my location with friends, and I've had a few interactions recently that reminded me of what it was like to share personal information with friends and get judgment or weird feedback. Kind of just like discerning situations and who may not have your best interest genuinely. You know what I'm saying? Like, people really be your friends and just are I consider people my friends because I do things in love, and I just kind of expect to get what I give, but that's not always the case. And so somebody could half-ass fool with me, but still kind of like want to hear what's going on in my life for the sake of entertainment or judgment or whatever. And I just don't have that to give. As I transition into what may be, building a life with someone else or starting new relationships and things, I kind of want to keep them safe and sacred. I have to do a better job at that because I'm naturally like this open book, this ball of happiness, joy, confidence. And when you ask me a question, I'm going to give you an answer. I'm going to tell you the truth. A lot of people aren't like that. Like, you can ask me something personal and I'll shell out, but I can ask you something personal and you're reserved, or you just don't, you're always there to listen, or you're always there to judge, or you're always there to compare and compete. And I'd rather not. Life is good. Love is good. I'm blessed. And I'm like, I don't think that every part of the wilderness is bad. Each and everything that happens in our life is for a reason. And I can separate myself from situations. I think I be trying to figure out if that's a flaw of mine, like my ability to detach. And it's never easy to detach myself from a friendship, from family, from a relationship, or, a connection that was building. It's not easy. I'll never admit that that it's easy, but it is possible. I've done it in a lot of ways. Never, ever, ever easy. And I do find myself grieving things and situations and people, lost connections prematurely. But I also kind of like, when I pray that prayer and something happens where I'm kind of like forced to walk away, then I just have to kind of leave it where it is. But like I said, in the wilderness, everything ain't all bad, but is something is being built there. Something's being broken there. Something's being matured there. And sometimes we're being stretched there. And so this discomfort is just making me who I am and setting a standard. And this love is making me who I am and it's setting a standard. You know what I'm saying? So I'm always learning. I'm always growing through it. You hear me? Not just going through it. Yes, sometimes they probably be like, girl, she always going through it. I'm growing through it. I promise you that there is growth happening. And the sweet man, y'all, he made a comment like, ain't it crazy how no matter what's sent, you always come out better? You always come out better than before. And I actually seen scripture that lines up with it that says that, because like I think it said, like basically the trials and tribulations that you endure, it's not for nothing. And with God, you'll always come out better than before. And so always better than before. So I'm not hurt. I mean, I feel things in its fullness. So I've cried, I've laughed, I've yelled, I've, all of these different things for the past 72 hours. And I'm growing through it. So, if I can encourage anything, it would be to just love. Be love, exist in love. Love on everybody that you're connected to. Give love, receive love, receive love, accept love. You deserve it. And I can't wait to get the love that I deserve. And that my God sent love that I deserve. And yeah, it's coming. It's on the way. Just like them clients on the way, just like the money on the way, just like the peace, the joy. The peace, the joy, the happiness is already here. The goodness of God is already here. The Holy Spirit is already here right now today. Y'all wait on him to come back. He here right now. That's why I'm able to exist in love. So